There we go. All right, sorry about that. Okay. Hi, everybody. Just had a little technical issue. That sounds pretty normal for me. Now there's a way I can expand this. This way? Oh, yep, there we go. There we go. All right. So tonight I have a new project. It's using this paper pack, PinkFresh Studio, called Some Days, and it's all pastels. Okay, I've said it's all pastels, but there's also red and sort of this darker teal, but in general, we've got pastels going on. And what I have made, almost finished making, is an ephemera holder. So I haven't got the covers on yet. That's part of the demo I want to do tonight. But I'll sort of give you an idea of what it's going to look like. So it has a bunch of pages, and it just flips, and it has all these little slots to fit ephemera in. So these little cut aparts were actually on one of the pages, so I've just tucked them in here. And the really cool thing about this is if you are working at your table, you can spread it out like this and just, kind of flip between pages and see what you got right in front of you. So I really thought that was fun. There's 16 pages here, and we are going to use all of them but one. Now, the thing I should have done differently is saved this one that had the cut aparts. The back of this one is the pink and white ledger paper with the flowers. I should have saved one of them, and I'll explain that later, but it works. It works. Okay, so this is what the cover is going to look like. In the kit, you're going to get two 12 by 12 sheets of chipboard. So I have cut this one down to 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. And I have cut a piece of this paper to 9 3/4 by 9 3/4. Now this is where it gets tricky because I want it to look really super neat. So I have just scored with a bone folder. I didn't get out my scoring board or anything, but I just scored 3/4 of an inch from every edge so that this would fold up against this edge of the chipboard and make it really flat and precise and nice and perfect. I guess I can go ahead and glue it down. I'm going to use art glitter glue because it's fast and easy. But I'm in big time love with this mixed media glue. So get yourself some of this. You need this for, I don't even know what you need it for, but you're going to need it. I was using it today on a junk journal that I'm working on, and I used it to glue down the lace, this picture, this lace, and I'm just thrilled with it. So that is a Stamperia product, but I'm just going to check the measurements on this to make sure I'm exactly 8 by 8. Just got my ruler here. Or sorry, 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. Yeah, I thought it was out a little. Well, let's try to figure out which way it's out a little. I think it's that edge. Right there. Where's my pencil? I have 5,000 pencils. Hi, Natalie. How are you? Yeah, I'm going to trim just a whisker. Just a whisker. Perfect. Okay, we'll go back to this paper. And I mean, you could use, it's paper on paper, so you could use any preferred adhesive. If you are someone that likes to use tape, tape is going to be just fine. I've never been one to use tape. I also don't use a trimmer, you probably have noticed. Definitely something wrong with me. Okay. I'm just going to let that set up for a minute. So in order to make it a beautiful mitered edge, I am going to trim out the corners a bit. So I don't want to go right to that corner. I want to go about an 1/8 of an inch, maybe. And you just cut straight across. Okay. So I'm gonna get out my own folder. Because again, I want this to be super crisp. The lights flashed here just a few minutes ago and our internet went out, and I thought, uh-oh, are we gonna have another storm like last night? It's pretty rough for me. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Not that I, have a thing against thunderstorms. That's fine with me. It's just I am a very light sleeper, and any little noise, that's it. And I wear earplugs. Go figure. Go figure. When I get around to gluing this down, I'm going to use some bulldog clips to hold the paper down. So that it glues securely. Okay, now I'm going to bend up that corner first and then make my miter, okay? And make it as flat as possible. There we go. Okay, we'll start with this side. And I have my filthy, dirty cutting mat out tonight. I just realized I usually have my Timmy Holtz glass mat. I'm just a wreck. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's a good miter. We got us a good miter. Hi Yvonne, thanks for joining us. How's it going in your neck of the woods? I've been on vacation all week. Hey, that's glued. How the heck did that happen? Must be the correct atmospheric pressure or something. I don't know. I've been on vacation all week. My husband started back to work. He works at Conestoga College, so of course school year's back in. He's back in. And so I didn't even tell him I was taking holidays. I just wanted to be by myself and get some chores done and work on some stuff that it's just better he not see. Do you know what I mean? Ooh, I'm pretty pleased with this. And once we have these covers done, then I'll demonstrate how we are going to make the pages. I love it when a project doesn't need a lot of crazy supplies or crazy techniques. I like it when it's just a fun project that's useful. Hi, Judy. How's things where you are? Okay. The pages are going to be made from folders that look like this. There's going to be 5 folders in the kit, and they need to be cut to 8 by 8. So I have already cut 2 of them. And when I say cut 8 by 8, I mean cut on the fold. So when it's open, it's 2 8x8 pages. Okay. Once you have all of these file folders cut out, you want to pile them up one on top of the other, and I will show you how to attach them. So I'm going to use a piece of masking tape. About yay long. I can trim it if I have to. Now, these two are back to back. I'm not going to open this up and tape it flat because then it won't fold nicely. So I'm going to start by putting the tape I'm going to start by tearing up the tape into a million pieces. No. Lay down, baby. Lay down. Okay. So, if you fold, make sure these are 100% stacked side by side. You don't want it to be off a little. I mean, it won't kill the project, but it won't have as nice a finish as if there. If you want to do it laying flat, just make sure you leave a space. See that little space there? It's like maybe a 1/16 of an inch. You want it so that these are going to fold back. So at some point, you're going to have all of these together, a total of 10 pages. And I should mention, you don't have to choose this for your cover. You can choose any paper. But I do recommend keeping one of the cut aparts. Okay. So where, oh, there it is. So then with the remainder of your papers, -1. So you've used 2, we've got 1 being set aside, so that's 13 pages. You're going to cut each page. You're going to want an 8x8 square and then a 4x8 strip, and then keep the bottom 4 inches because this is what we're going to use for the shelves, the little slots that your ephemera will slide into. Okay. So what I did, let me just grab some tape here. So I laid out my pages the way I wanted them to show up in the book. So I did a full sheet, and then I did a half, and then I flipped it and I did like it had a half a lemon, and then I did 2 full lemons, half a lemon, and so on and so on and so on. So I organized that by taking my pages and then just taping them down with a little bit of, you can use washi tape, or I use, this is Surface Delicate tape. So it doesn't tear your paper. So in order to get everything organized, that's what I did. So when you're gluing the 8x8 down, you also have to make sure you leave that space there. Okay? Hi, Michelle. You're not too late. Prepared to be wowed and amazed. Again, you want to use a score tape, if you want to use a glue stick, whatever. Okay. So just give it the extra time required to make sure that it's going on exactly flush with the top and bottom edges, and leave that little crack there so that when you close this, it'll fold easily. You need to leave room for that fold. Sometimes, if your cutting wasn't 100%, you may need to trim a little off the side. This is one of 13 sheets of paper where I actually got it right. So when you skip to the part about thinking how you want to do your slots or your shelves, think about the kind of ephemera you use. So if you're somebody that uses a lot of dimensional stuff like chipboard tags or things like that, you're going to want to shim out your shelves just a smidger to allow that space. And I'll show you how to do that. Okay. Oh, I do like my glue, don't I? Just gonna drag this around so I can get my nose right under it. Okay, I got a little overhang here. So, I'm so thrilled. So in order to trim that, what I'm going to do, I have my glass mat here. If you don't have a glass mat, I want you to go to the dollar store and get a glass frame. Go to the thrift store, look in your closet where all things go to. Actually, that's not bad. What I was going to suggest is that you put the glass on top and then just right down there with your X-Acto blade. Okay, so how many? I feel like I've got a few pages that don't have pockets yet. So let's do some pockets. I think I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to cut this down to 7 inches. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. 7 and 7. So it's been a good week off for me. It's kind of hot those couple days there, but I can cope with that as long as I have my air conditioning. Okay. And I want to make sure that I'm not, I don't want to keep this part, so I can cut that off. I'm not using any distress ink or anything like that today. That's okay. So I said to keep your leftover cutoffs from making the pages. I mean, it's not necessary to trim at this point. I just don't want to use my glue up on pieces that aren't going to actually be used. Okay. Whoop, you stand up there. Looks like I got another ½ inch there or something. So I'm just going to go ahead and butt this up against it. So I'm kind of excited about Lucy Palooza coming up next month. This will be my first time participating, and I was at the store this afternoon showing Heather what I'd come up with, and we're both ridiculously excited. Okay. So, I've been using mostly like an 1.5 inches, 1 5/8 inches. No, 1.5 inches, 1 3/8 inches, 1 1/4 inches, and I think that eventually adds up to whatever this is, something like 4 inches. This would be so much easier. Oh, I found my ruler. It's not my favorite one, but it'll do. So I'm going to go with inch and a half. Maybe they were both 1 1/4 inches. I'm going to go with 1 1/4 inches. Now, if you are a chipboard aficionado and you need to allow space, this is where this piece comes, extra piece comes in. I'm just going to cut a little 1/4 inch shim. I'm going to put it along the bottom of this. Feels like a bookshelf to me. I'm going to put it along the bottom of this slot, and that will just allow for a little more room to slide those dimensional pieces in. If you think you need even more dimension, put 2 shims in. If you want to ink, do that. I also thought about sewing. I love sewing on paper. I didn't do it in this project, but if you were wanting to sew, you would want to sew the shelves, for lack of a better thing to call them, sew the shelves in place and then glue the page down onto the file folder. Okay. Oh, that's great, Carolyn. Are you signed up for this year? Okay. Just laying my ruler there because I want it 1/2 inch from the bottom. And I'm making sure that my shim's at the bottom. And I want it 1/2 inch in. Okay. Again, depending on the size of the pieces you're going to tuck in, that's going to determine, you know, how close you want them together. So I'm going to just leave more room at the bottom where the big shelf is, and I'll leave a little less room between the next 2. Okay. I've just got my ruler there. This is a 6x12 quilting ruler. And I was a quilter for many, 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 many years. So that's what I'm used to, and that's what I have at hand. So okay, and I don't want this one too high because I still want room there. Okay, let's pretend we've done all of the other shelves in here. We're going to do gluing the cover down. So this was the first cover. I'm just going to measure about 1/4 inch. It doesn't have to be a very long line or a very dark line. I just want some landmarks. There, I measured my thumb into it. Everyone so far, I think I was told this is number 8. The Lucy Palooza 8. Okay. Now, The paper that I'm using that's on the cover is not directional, so I'm not worried about it, but if it was a directional paper, I would really need to pay attention that I was putting the right cover in the right orientation on the right side. It gets complicated. Oops. Stand down. Okay. So our glitter glue doesn't give you a lot of time to wiggle. Do you know what? Shouldn't have been a 1/4 inch, should have been an 1/8 of an inch. Because it was 8 1/4. Okay. Doing the top is a little easier. Because we can just match it up with the cover. My phone is buzzing. Somebody wants me. It's probably my daughter-in-law. She has a sick baby. She called me last night. Baby's had a fever. So she had a sick baby, and baby has got 2 infected ears. So I was supposed to have baby tomorrow, but her mommy's going to keep her home. Okay. Just making sure that this is stuck. Feels like I could use a little more glue here. Yeah. She's not a she's just turned 18 months old. She's not a complainer. But if she's not eating, there's a problem. That girl's love language is food. She takes after her Nana. Okay, I'm just going to put a couple of these things here just to secure that. Make sure it's holding. I steal all these from the office. I guess I shouldn't admit to stealing, but because I work at a law office. But we're almost entirely paperless. So a lot of things are not needed in the same quantity which we once upon a time needed them. Yeah, I'm just adding another couple more bulldogs. It was just, oops. Okay. Put my pin back in there. Now let's have a look at this thing. Oh, what a good husband you have, Barb. Are you stuck? You are stuck. What? A good job. Okay, now I'm not sure if I demonstrated this or not. So you have all of your shelves on the one side with all of your ephemera in it, and you're just, you know, going through your pages looking for that perfect die cut. Turn it around and you've got another side. So it's, you know, one of those never-ending kinds of things. You flip, 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 and then here it goes the other direction. All right. The one thing that I wanted to do was just decorate this a bit. So this is why I said to keep the cut apart page. It's actually this pink and white ledger. Keep that because it had some cute a cute blue tag on there, especially, that could have been zhuzhed up. I kind of like this. These are two of my favorite things, coffee and books, but you know, it's kind of on the smallish side. I mean, it's cute and all. It kind of looks like a, you know, like a label on your jeans. Your Levi's. What I think I'm going to do actually is I have these other two pieces, and I'm going to mount the bigger one on some leftover this stuff, just to give it some extra dimension. Don't you part with those clips. They are, if you go to Staples, oh my word, they are so expensive. Clothes pegs work. I have these other clips. They're actually meant for sewing. I'm going to put you here. Let me show them to you. So these are also from my quilting days. These are not cheap, so I'm glad I have another use for them. So I only wanted to show you that so you could think about what else you might have around the house that you could use for, of course you need all sizes. But you might have even those mini paper clips. They're not paper clips, but clothes pegs that you get in the craft section at Dollarama or whatever. I mean, they're not going to be as heavy duty as bulldog clips, but I decided to load both of these up for dimension. Okie dokie. Get away. Beautiful. Next, covered in glue. I find a knife easier to use on glass. Let me see if I can demonstrate that. That's why I prefer to have my Timmy Holtz mat up and, yeah, see how that just zips right through there. Okay. Now I'm going to glue my A. Right here. Put it in the center, but I'm not going to. I'm going to put it in the bottom right hand side. You can do these different sizes as well. You just need to cut your chipboard and your file folders, whatever size works for you. You can do by 6 by 9 maybe. So it's a little more, you know, book size. I thought 8 by 8 was good because it gives each page a lot of surface. Yeah, I feel like this would have been cuter with that tag. It was blue and it had little leaves on it. That's okay. It zhuzhes it up a bit. It says, "Tomorrow is always fresh with no mistakes in it." Okay, so that is the project. There will be kits available in the store. The directions have lots of photos and very clear measurements. I think you'll be happy with that. And yeah, any questions, concerns, critiques? Well, seeing none, I think we can call it a night. We can go to bed early tonight. I think that's probably a good idea for me. Okay, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Come back again in 2 weeks. I believe we're doing some little pieces of ephemera and one-page wonder. Thanks, Judy. Thanks, Deborah. Thanks, Carolyn. Everybody have a good night, and hope I see you again in 2 weeks. Good night.